Hello everyone, welcome to this InternGyan session on research internships in civil engineering. And I'm Shivan Tripathi and I'm a Y17 undergraduate in civil engineering department. And I was selected for a research internship at Texas A&M University in Texas, US through the TAMU IIT summer internship program. Though it got cancelled because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Though I'll have some experience to share with you because I was also part of the Sakura Science Exchange program, which was organized by University of Tokyo to introduce students from some of the IITs, including IIT Kanpur, to the infrastructure research facilities in Japan. Now, we'll be starting with the various internship programs that are available. Then we'll go on to the preparation that you require to get into those programs, and the various fields that are available for research in civil engineering, and finally we'll go on to I'll go on to share some of my experience in the Sakura Science Exchange program. Now, starting with the internship programs, so there are two types of them. Firstly, which require you to do apping first, whereby you are required to contact a professor and you will have to get him to accept you as an intern under him, and then these programs take care of the funding that is required in that. So such programs are DART-WISE and CHAR-PARC Labs. So DART-WISE, where WISE is working internship in science and engineering. So DART-WISE is a DART-WISE is a internship program for institutions in Germany. CHAR-PARC Labs is for France, and they take care mostly of your stipend funding needs, accompanied generally by a lump sum amount. The application procedure for CHAR-PARC starts much later in February, while as far as I remember, that of DART-WISE starts in November or December. Though you'll have to start much earlier because you'll have to do the apping part first, and you'll have to get some professor to accept you as an intern first. And also DART-WISE has a criteria of 8.5 or above CPI, and CHAR-PARC doesn't have any criteria, though for detailed logistics you can go and check their websites. Now coming to SN Bose and MITEX Global Link Research Internship. So SN Bose is for US institutions, and the MITEX Global Link program is for the institutions in Canada. So they take care of mostly all of your funding needs, starting from airfare to accommodation to your stipend, and you're not required to do any apping here. You are just required to submit your CV, sometimes a statement of offers or an online form, and along with recommendation letters from your professors. And once you're selected into this program, then once you're selected, then you'll be matched with some professors whom you will select depending upon a preference order, and it goes like that. There is a CPI criteria both in I don't know about SN Bose, but there is a CPI criteria in MITEX Global Link. The ownership of SN Bose was recently changed, and some changes were made in the application procedure. So please check out their website for that. Now coming to TAMU IIT summer internship program. So the application procedure starts very early in August, and students are selected by September itself, and the selection is done by the Office of International Relations. So the general procedure that the Office of International Relations follows is that they arrange you in CPI in the order of your CPI, and take the top 5 or 6 students. That is generally what they do in most of the selections. And so you got to have a very good CPI, and generally of 9.5 or above to get selected in this program. And now once you're selected, then you'll be asked about you'll asked to give a list of a preference list of 5 professors, and that will be sent to the coordinator in TAMU, and he'll try to match you with a professor in that preference order. If you are matched, well and good. If you are not, then you'll ask to give another list, and the procedure goes on until you are matched. And it hardly happens that a student is not matched with any professor. Though in my case, I had to send a second list, and I got matched with the professor at my 10th preference. So it wasn't a very good experience there for me. And now, talking about my experience in the Sakura Science Exchange program. So we visited the infrastructure research facilities of the Kajima Corporation, which is a private infrastructure development firm in Japan, and the research and development facilities of the University of Tokyo. A highlight of our visit was the disaster management program of the Institute of Industrial Science, and in the way that it has gone very much advanced and interdisciplinary, and it attracts students from various fields, including electrical engineering, civil engineering, data science, computer science, to come and work together in the field of disaster management. So, and they are doing some really extensive work using geoinformatics. So, so for students who are interested in geoinformatics or structural engineering, or for that matter, in most of the fields of civil engineering, it is a good field to explore. That is disaster management. Now, towards the end, we were required to give a presentation. So that was to be about the disaster management in India and ways to improve it. So we decided to combine geoinformatics, because again, everyone likes geoinformatics, whoever is doing research in civil engineering, and to combine it with flood disaster mitigation, and we showed some application of GI in flood disaster mitigation, and from what we observed, that it was the best presentation of all the 4 IITs that were present there. So now coming on to the preparation part. So the first and foremost criteria is your CPI. So you got to have a good CPI, generally in the range of 8 or 9, to get into research internship programs. And the key to maintaining a good CPI is you got to go to classes, you got to do your assignments, however much time they take, you got to do them on your own, and if you are doing this, and even if you study a couple of days before your examinations, you'll get through, and you'll have a good enough CPI in the range of 8 or 9. Now, apart from that, you require research experience for getting into these programs as well. Not the TAMU IITK, they only take you based on your CPI, but the other programs, they require you to have some research experience, and it would generally be in the form of some projects or UGPs or a search project under a professor, and you may further go on to publish under a professor, but it depends on you. You got to have some research experience, and you got to have produced at least some concrete results in that. And so I would recommend that you should focus firstly to go simple and produce some results, and then build up on that. Now, as far as the skills that are required are concerned, so generally you need to be familiar with MATLAB or Python and Excel, because a lot of data science work goes on there. And apart from that, the software skills that are required vary from field to field, but they are not generally the requirement that is asked for in these research internship programs, and it's generally only MATLAB and programming language like Python, etc. Now, but again, like if you're apping and you got to convince a professor to take you as an intern, then some field-specific expertise in certain softwares is an add-on. Now, as far coding is concerned, so again, like coding is mostly used as a tool to supplement your work, and so either it be data science or ML or generally any coding work, and sometimes if you're doing some modeling work, so you need to have some coding experience there. So if you are planning to do a project in some kind of modeling, then focus on courses like numerical methods, and yeah. Now, some fields like geoinformatics require some hardcore coding, and as far the what you get from your coursework that is concerned, so you don't get much from your coursework, but it helps you to like build a base on which you learn. Without the coursework as a base, you can't do much of the things. So, but you got to supplement that with some research experience and again with a good CPA. Now, I'll briefly take you through the various research fields that are available in civil engineering. So, mostly things have gone very much interdisciplinary nowadays, and you got to have something from electrical engineering, something from CSE, and something from mechanical engineering coming into your field, and then most of the research goes on nowadays. So, for example, data science and ML are must-have tools if you are working in any field of informatics or in transportation engineering, geoinformatics, sustainable or urban planning, and disaster management. Now, the general fields are structural engineering, that mostly nowadays the most of the research that goes on structural engineering is in disaster resilience, and geotechnical engineering also most of the research that goes on is in disaster resilience, and it mostly deals with foundations and the earth beneath and around various structures. Now, geoinformatics is an emerging field, and it has a lot of it has a lot in terms of future scope, and it has UAVs, it has ML, it has data science, it has image processing, it has signal processing, it has informatics. It is basically the CSE of civil engineering. And then there is hydrology and water resource engineering, where you can either do work in modeling, or you deal with a lot of data, like a lot of hydrological data, or you can work on developing some measurement techniques, and a lot of those that kind of stuff goes on there. Now, coming on to transportation engineering, so there is mostly two parts to it. One is the pavement design and engineering, and the other part is mostly the traffic flow design. So again, the traffic flow design part is something that I find interesting, and it generally deals with the design of traffic flow, either be it on roads or railways, and even on UAVs. Then another part is that combines various of these fields with economics. So you work on pricing on water usage in environmental engineering, you work on pricing on various traffic routes in transportation engineering. That was the field I was going to work on under my professor in TAMU, but unfortunately I couldn't. Then coming to environment engineering, it is again a very vast field. You have a lot of research subfields under this. You can either work in climate change, you can work in developing novel equipments for like filters or some measurement instruments. Then you can work in even microbiology, biology. Most of the environment engineering stuff of faculty of TAMU used to works in microbiology. Then you can only deal with data on in terms of biodiversity data, or in the environment impact assessment. You can work in the field of sustainable development, eco-friendly alternatives to present processes, be it industrial or etc. Then again, as I said, you combine it with economics, and you work on pricing of various natural resources. Again, taking various fields interdisciplinary, geoinformatics is playing a very important role in that, and it has got a lot of future scope. Now, finally coming on, so that was a brief about Now, this brings us to the end of our session, and feel free to contact me. I'll try to answer your queries, or I'll at least get you in touch with people who can if I'm not able to. Thank you.